There's nothing worse than feeling guilt, is there, Scorpio? I want to talk about that in the light of the transits for your Scorpio sun sign horoscope this month being February 2019. Thanks for joining me. I'm Dadhichi from astrology.com.au. For those of you that are new, welcome. So, what's this guilt thing? Well, you've got the February 5th new moon, and that's going to take place in the sign of Aquarius. And let me just get the chart up here so I know what I'm talking about. Aquarius actually falls in the 4th house, which is your domestic sphere, to a large extent your family, your mother, your genetic roots. And if you haven't been spending enough time with these people, now is the time to give them the sufficient time that you've been wanting to. You can reshape your relationships and start afresh in that area. And that takes quite a bit of planning because, you know, in the modern today life, it's difficult to find enough time to do that. But that is really what you're being asked to do. And it's not just the moon itself that's transiting this area this month. You've got Mercury and the sun, which is a formidable power pack of planets there, indicating communication, indicating a drive to, you know, make your presence felt there and to be accepted and to enjoy the process of getting back in touch and in connection with the ones that you love on the home front. And if some of you recall in my past readings, I talk about the 4th house being more than just one's physical home. I talk about this being one's heart, one's peace of mind, one's inner sanctuary. And this, as a result, is a month where you can reconnect with that inner equilibrium. If things have been annoying you, I was going to say pissing you off, I can say it. If things are pissing you off, you can find that space of balance in yourself where things don't piss you off. Well, they may piss you off, but you're going to be in a better internal situation to manage that stuff, those circumstances, those irritating people who are causing you to lose balance. So that's why this new moon is very, very important in this sector of your horoscope. And the reverse end of that is the full moon that takes place later in the month on the 20th. That's going to occur in Virgo, which is your 11th house of friendships. So it seems like family comes first. That's the new initiative that you'll be looking at, that internal personal happiness and peace of mind, finding home within yourself, not having to race out. And it's nice that that comes first in order because if you look at the way a lot of people deal with socializing, it becomes a crutch, it becomes a distraction from that solitary, self-analytical poise that we need to find that happiness within ourselves. So you find that first early in the month on the new moon phase, and then later you're able to take that equilibrium and that inner certitude, that self-satisfaction emotionally, and come from the correct space in terms of forging new relationships, cementing old ones, communicating, enjoying yourself in a social context. So that's really, really great news. Venus moves into your 3rd house. Venus is important for you because it rules your marital life, ruling the 7th house of your horoscope, Scorpio. And that moves into the 3rd house of communication. That's important because you may have felt stifled there with Saturn still occupying that 3rd house. It makes it difficult. Well, not always difficult. It may just mean you're not interested in, you know, talking about nonsense. If you really listen to, I sometimes do it, I eavesdrop. I sit there and listen to what people are talking about. Do you do that? I find it ridiculous. It's like all this time wasted on stuff. So that may be why you haven't wanted to engage. Saturn has inhibited that aspect of your nature over the last year or so. But now Venus moving into this area brings with it a little bit more optimism and a desire and an insight into the fact that, well, not everyone is going to be dull and boring and have nothing to offer. There are people that do have something to offer you, and Venus gives you the opportunity to re-explore that. It's also a lovely planet for shorter journeys and, you know, moving out and about, and so that's going to set the trend for those later transits that I mentioned earlier on. The transit of Mercury in the 5th house around February 10, ooh, bit of seasickness setting in there, is very, very creative, and it's creative on an intellectual level. Mercury is the planet of communication. Moving into your 5th house on the 10th, it shows that any endeavours that you proceed along now will satisfy you not just socially or creatively, but really there's a mental satisfaction. So reading, writing, getting your diary in order. These are the sorts of things that can fulfill you creatively, but also give you a sense of satisfaction that you're able to access different parts of your mind, different topics, different interests that you may not have thought you had, and you can connect them with your social engagements as well, while Mercury looks directly at your 11th house of friendships and social connections. Mars transits your 7th house on the 14th. Mars is one of your ruling planets along with Pluto. Therefore, that is something that has to be watched, especially after moving across the conjunction of Uranus in your 6th house of work. Be careful you don't take your workplace frustrations into your personal relationships this month. There's a real danger of that. Mars in most astrological works is not considered a favourable transit. It's one that needs to be carefully monitored. And if you're not careful, because the 7th house of your horoscope is Taurus, a fixed sign along with your sun sign, then any sorts of disagreements you have may really become entrenched, and you don't want that moving on into days and weeks. So fortunately, those other aspects we mentioned, the new moon and reconnecting with your family, finding peace, these are all of the cornerstones of really helping you overcome any of these sorts of transits that are likely to bother you. I hope that's been of help. There's lots more to give you there at astrology.com.au. I've written up a whole lot of stuff, over 1,000 words for each of the signs for this month alone, along with another 3,000 words for your yearly horoscope for 2019. And day by day, I do a brief reading for you. So you can put all of these astrological pieces of the jigsaw together there at the site, astrology.com.au. Join me. It's all free. And subscribe while you're here, if you wouldn't mind. And drop me a note if you want. If you've got any questions, technical questions about astrology, I get a lot of inquiries from people. And I love sharing what little knowledge I have of this. So please do that. And again, join me next month. I look forward to your company then. Bye-bye for now.